What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about a few different ways we can save a little bit of money so we can take that and invest it into things we might need later on down the line. All right, so let's get the video started. Starting off with the number one thing that probably for most of us cost the most in the hobby are the tanks themselves. The biggest tip I have is to wait for the dollar per gallon slash 50% off tank sale at Petco, where usually for the smaller tanks you can find at roughly about a dollar per gallon. Now these are 20-gallon longs. At Petco, they were $25 plus tax. Now the 10-gallon tanks, they are $10. If you go a little bit higher to 40-gallon tanks, there's a 40 breeder, I believe runs about $55. And then if you're going into the 55 gallons, then those are roughly 75. This is my 55-gallon tank here. I did purchase it brand new from Petco during their sale, and it was $75 plus tax. And here's my 40-gallon breeder that was $55 plus tax. Now, the sale happens probably once every 4 or so months, but they go on for about a month at least that I've noticed. So when it does happen, you want to make sure you get everything that you need. The next tip is to look on your marketplace, such as Facebook, OfferUp, even Craigslist. This is a 45-gallon tall that I got for 20 bucks from Facebook Marketplace. This right here, the whole setup, the light, the tank, and the stand all came with the lids also, actually. This is my 75-gallon Marineland combo. I paid $150, and after I bought it, I've seen some go for even less, and that's once again on Facebook Marketplace. Lastly, I want to talk about my, what is this, a 15-gallon, the Fluval. This tank and this guy right here, that's actually from my plant project. It's overrun by algae. It's the Fluval Evo 5-gallon. Both of these actually I bought from the same person. I found them on OfferUp, and I got both of them for $20. Now, if you guys know, this 15-gallon, I want to say runs roughly about $170 brand new. And then the Evo 5-gallon right here, I want to say it's roughly $75 to $90 at the store. All right, so you can definitely find yourself some good deals as long as you're patient. But keep looking, because sometimes these go really quick. And the last tank I want to bring up is my honorable mention 33-gallon long. If you guys remember the video, I found this at a garage sale, but it was posted on Facebook Marketplace. And I did get this for $50. So normally they run about 130 to 170 brand new, but they are hard to find. I've seen them at the stores only a few times, but once again, it's for that retail price. So just keep looking, and you'll definitely be able to come across a gem, just like I did. Next on our list is substrate. Now these are 3 types of substrates that I use. On from the left, you've got pool filter sand. Right in the middle, also pool filter sand. And all the way on the right is the famous black diamond blasting sand. Now these go for probably about 10 bucks a bag, and I want to say it's probably a 40-pound bag. So you do get definitely a lot for how much you're paying. So I originally started with this one, this pool filter sand, and it's the lightest. It's almost like a white color. Then I wanted something a little bit more natural, so I found this one. It's got a little bit more tan to it. And then the black diamond blasting sand. And it's pretty dark. It's nice and sparkly if you like that. I normally just use black diamond blasting sand to cap, which means adding a layer on top of your existing substrate. I have a tank with dirt. I've got a tank with the fluval stratum, and since those are really messy and they, you can't plant in them really well, you'll cap it with something a little bit heavier so it doesn't, float all around and get your water dirty. Pool filter sand, it works great. It's not super fine, so it blows around everywhere, but then it's not super big, so you can plant really well in them. Both of these are about the same size in granules. The one in the middle, I believe it's from Menards. The one on the left, I might have got that one from an actual pool store. They're still both $10. So I would double check when you see the bag to see what color it is, because there's definitely a difference in those two. All right, so this is my shell dweller tank. This tank is mixed with probably about 60% of that light colored pool filter sand mixed in with some crushed aragonite. That helps buffer my pH to raise it a little bit more for cichlids, but that's kind of how it looks like. And then this one, if you can see, is a little bit more, it's the middle one. It's a little bit darker, it's a little bit more tan, so it looks a little bit more natural. It's kind of one I wanted, so I actually bought that bag specifically for this tank. Here in my riverscape, you see that as well. It's the middle, it's the more tan colored one. So it kind of does give it more natural feel to it. And then we've got my Mbuna tank. It's kind of dirty in there, but this is also the same blend as the shell dweller tank, where it's got a majority of pool filter sand, but also some aragonite in there. All right, so we're gonna go back to this 33 gallon. So the next couple things I want to talk about is play sand. So that is play sand, probably about maybe like a 70% mix of play sand and 30% of the beige pool filter sand. Now, play sand you can probably get at your Home Depot. I believe this bag I did get at Home Depot. I want to say it was a roughly $4, and I think that's also a 40-pound bag. So you're definitely getting a lot. So a lot of people don't like play sand. I believe it's just because it's really fine and it's really easy to blow around all over the place. But that's the reason I mix it with the pool filter sand. It's so it wouldn't compact. I don't know if you can see right there. I think that's an air bubble. Kind of hard to tell. But yeah, so definitely it can make it so little bubbles of air are stuck under the substrate. So I try to do a little bit of mixing. In this planted tank, the bottom layer is organic soil mixed in with a inert clay mix, and I topped it off with play sand and a little bit of the fine gravel. So you can see it looks, I mean, I like how it looks. I don't know about you guys, but it does give me that more natural feel to it. The next substrate I do want to talk about is gravel. Now, if you look over there in the back, those rocks, more natural look, looks like gravel. Those were also bought at Home Depot. So this is called, I believe it's called pea pebbles. Maybe it's called pea rocks. I think it's pea pebbles. But they're small, gravel-like, and that also I want to say was $4 for a 40-pound bag. So you're getting a lot. And instead of paying, 20 bucks for a, 10-pound bag of gravel at the big stores, I would go check out Home Depot first. Now, all these substrates, they are going to require you rinsing them because they are dirty. They have been sitting outside. Sometimes, there's a lot of other dust and whatnot inside the bag. So some of them will take several rinses until you get, noticeably clearer water when you're rinsing them out. And then that will definitely prevent your tank from clouding up. All right, so the last is the black diamond blasting sand. Now in this tank, I've got fluval stratum, I've got some Eco Complete, and then if you look, you can see the black diamond blasting sand. So they're the more finer pieces. Like there, you can see kind of the Eco Complete along the sides, And then right down the middle is like a nice path of black diamond blasting sand. Here you can see it a little bit more. So they are almost like copper-like little pieces in them. You see like a little shine. It is inert, but there definitely are mixed reviews of people using black diamond blasting sand. For the most part, I believe they are good reviews. Just from my personal experience, I've never had any issues, so I've just kept using it. So the next thing on our list, as you can see, are heaters. Now heaters, depending on the size of your tank, could, be, anywhere from $20 to $40. I've got this, how many watt is this? I believe it's a 300 watt, and that was roughly $40. But it does come with a little external thermostat. So this is my spare. I do have one on one of my tanks currently. These are all 50 watts. I've got 3 of them here and 2 brand new Eheims. Believe it or not, there was 4 of these plus these 2. I found them once again on Facebook Marketplace, and I got them all for $2 each. And actually, I made a deal. I told him I would buy all 6 of them for 10 bucks. And he agreed, and this is where I am with some backup heaters. Look at that, it's still brand new. All right, so I lucked out there. What I can say is if you do decide to go with, cheaper heaters or used equipment, for heaters, I recommend getting is the Inkbird. Now, what the Inkbird is it's almost like a fail-safe. So it comes with a thermometer as well as obviously the outlet, and then it has a heating probe. So this right here you plop inside your water. This will tell you what the temperature of your water is. On here you can set it to what you want the temperature of your water to be. Now let's say I set it at 80 degrees. It'll read the temperature of the water up here. It'll read what I set it at. So it'll be 80 here, and then you plug in your heater. So I always plug in my heater to about where I want it to be, maybe 1 degree higher. So let's say I adjusted my heater to 81. So once my tank from this thermometer reads 80 degrees, it will power off this outlet, therefore turning off the heater. So this is a fail-safe. So if your heater ever malfunctions, like mine has before, no matter what, your tank will never get hotter than what you set this at. Granted, if this fails, then it possibly could. But this is my backup one. I do have one on my 75-gallon flower horn tank. And it's working well. It's working very accurately. I know a lot of people use this. So that's why I invested in one of these, because you don't want to lose all your fish, lose all your money. All right. Next on the list, guys, is filtration. Now, I think the best way to save money is to use sponge filters. Sponge filters are like this. You're going to feed an air line through here, and as it produces bubbles, it's going to suck in water. So in order to use that, you are going to need a couple extra things though. One of them being an air pump. So these are small air pumps. You can get rather larger ones, or even better, if you have a large fish room and many tanks, you can get a huge one and hook them up all to your various tanks. You will also need air lines. So the air line will come out of here. You want it long enough to where it's going to connect to this filter that's inside your tank. So they do sell, what are they called? Gang valves. So this can come out to one gang valve, and the gang valve could have 4 extra lines coming out of it. So depending on how strong your air filter is, you can use multiple sponges on a single air pump. Now, in my tanks, I use a lot of different types of filtration. I've got one giant filter there, as well as a hang-on back filter. For this one, just a large hang-on back filter. In here, got a large sponge and a canister. For this guy, you guys know the drill. We had to run a canister to be able to do the spray bar. All of these 20 gallons, this guy has a little internal filter in there, a fluval, as well as you can see the bubbles going up. There's a sponge back there somewhere. Here I've got a hang-on back plus a sponge. Same thing here as well. And same thing here as well. I just recently added those sponges because I do want to, I guess, swap out all the hang-on backs and just run sponges. So that is kind of the way I'm going. I just need to get an air pump that is strong enough to run all my tanks, because there's no point of purchasing, multiple air pumps if you're trying to save money on filtration. You might as well, just go with the hang-on back filters. So you definitely have an extra cost with the air pump, but you can make it cost effective by purchasing a large enough air pump to run multiple sponge filters. And that way you're filtering multiple tanks with only a few pieces of equipment instead of one filter for each tank. All right. Those of you who know. But if you're running hang-on back filters, polyfill, a lot of people call filter floss, is the cheapest, most effective, cost-saving way to filter your tanks. Let me show you an example. I believe I've got some. So that is just polyfill. So it starts to look all gunked up when it's used. And then you'll know by your water flow, it's less and less. I know a few of these, that's still got a decent flow to it. This guy is at a trickle because that polyfill in there is probably clogged. And this one's pretty decent actually. So instead of, paying X amount of dollars for those filter cartridges, all you gotta do is just grab a small handful and swap it out. And I went with the giant box because it was more cost effective. I believe I paid maybe $25 to $30 for this, and I've used it on all my tanks. Like, I haven't had it for too long, but you can see it looks like it's completely full. So definitely, I will probably be having this for a lifetime. All right, the last tip I have for you guys is with Dechlorinators. Now, there's several different types of Dechlorinators on the market. These are the main two that I use. Mostly the API, just because it's the most cost effective. The Fritz I just started using. I haven't had any complaints. So I'll probably still have this in my arsenal, but this has been my go-to. Reason being, this bottle at the time of this video is $6.93 for 16 ounces on Amazon. Comparatively, the Fritz Complete is running $9.25 for these 16 ounces. The other very popular option is Prime. So Seachem Prime is 16.9 ounces, but it runs for $19.99 right now. So per ounce, the API gives you 43 cents for an ounce. The Fritz is roughly 58 cents an ounce. And Prime is going to run you 84 cents an ounce. So Prime is almost double the price of API. Now, the reason why people might get Prime is because of this right here. The claim that it removes ammonia, detoxifies nitrate and nitrite. So if you're gonna go with Seachem Prime, why not just get Fritz for 58 cents an ounce instead of paying 84? This bottle right here, this 16-ounce bottle of Fritz Complete, will treat roughly, what's it say right there? 4,800 gallons. A 16.9, so 0.9 ounces more in a bottle of Prime, it's going to treat 5,000 gallons. So even at that, they are pretty much the same, except you're saving more money with the Fritz. Now, the API, it doesn't have the claim where it detoxifies nitrates, nitrites, or removes ammonia, but this guy, this one bottle of 16 ounces can treat, was it 9,460 gallons? Yes. So for probably almost double of this and almost double of the bottle of Prime, this is still cheaper. This is half the cost and 2 times the water volume that it will treat. So for me, it's a no-brainer. So that's why I have always these two on hand now. All right, guys, so those are a few tips that I use all the time that I want to share with you guys. If you guys have something that you like, that you've used, drop it down in the comments so we can spread the word and share with everybody else. Hopefully you guys learned something today, and as always, thanks for watching.